Hey, Facebook, what's up? Emily Kurtovich here, and I have a special guest tonight, the one and only Serge Kurtovich. How are you feeling, babe?
I'm feeling good.
He's a little bit nervous, so let's be nice and welcome him on. Serge doesn't know, but you guys all know I keep it pretty vulnerable. I keep it real on here. So we're going to talk about what our August looked like and give you the nitty-gritty details of what we were doing, why we're doing it, and what kind of happened. So what we did was a program for the month of August that is honestly pretty intense, pretty strict. But the reason behind it is I wasn't feeling good. Well, really both of us.
Yeah, both of us.
We're not feeling our best selves. We knew that we wanted to get our health in check. And say hi as you're hopping on. And we've really tried for probably at least since after we had our son, so like close to 4 years, we've been trying to lose the extra baby weight. You know, daddy bear gains weight along with mama while you're pregnant, and then we never lost it after the first baby and then the second one, and it's just this ongoing thing. And so over the summer, I was actually diagnosed with hypothyroidism and adrenal fatigue, just some hormone irregularities. I had been struggling. I've been very vulnerable about my weight loss journey. Started sharing a lot of that with you all back probably October of 2018. So coming up on a year now that I've really been fighting for this weight loss, and I had some success and just really stalled out. I was feeling really sick. It got to the point where, you know, clumps of my hair were coming out, the insomnia and exhaustion and all the things. And so once I got that diagnosis, it was really a slap in the face that, like, this is not about weight loss anymore. This is not about looking good anymore. You know, our motivation before was to feel good in our swimsuits in the summertime and going on our vacation wanting to look good, and it just wasn't about that anymore. It was about getting our lives back, getting our health back, getting our energy and vitality back, and being around for our kids. Hey, Brooke, thanks for hopping on. So I came to Serge and I was like, look, it's serious this time. I have to take this seriously. I'm going to do this Whole30, and I would really love your support. And of course, anyone who knows Serge, he is my biggest cheerleader, biggest fan, biggest supporter, and he's like, if you're doing this, I'm doing this, and I'm all in. So what did you think when I came to you with this crazy elimination diet? Like, we're cutting out all sugar, no soy, no wheat, no gluten, no dairy, all these things. What were your thoughts whenever I brought that to you?
I didn't like it at first. I thought, here we're going at a diet that's not going to work after a couple of weeks or maybe even a week. But like anything, let's give it a shot and see where it leads us.
And see, that's kind of news to me because you seemed very excited. You're like, absolutely, I'm all in. But to his credit, you know, I mentioned this has been a struggle for the both of us for close to 4 years now, and we have tried everything. I have come to him at least 10 times, like, there's a new shake I want to try, there's a new program I want to try, there's a new system, weight loss this, program that. We've done the gym memberships, hired trainers, I've drank all the shakes, taken all the pills, done all the supplements, and not only did most of it not work, what did work didn't stick. So totally understand his hesitation with another one of those things, but for me, this was really different. It was completely different, and I just wanted to give a little background on our weight journey. Mm-hmm. Well, speak for yourself a little bit. What has been your experience with weight? Like through your 20s and 30s, through adulthood. Because I'll just preface this by saying when Serge and I got together, hey, Kara, I would say physically we were both in really great shape. We were both going to the gym like 5, 6, 7 days a week, and we looked physically fit. But I would venture to say we were both pretty unhealthy as far as what we were eating, what we were doing to stay fit. You know, taking the pre-workouts that make your heart pound out of your chest and not eating nutritious. I was starving myself into the ground. You were using supplements that probably were not healthy. So what has been your biggest struggle with weight as an adult?
just going up and down, and especially after having kids, you just can't find the time to go to the gym and do all these things that will allow you to eat like crap and still not gain a lot of weight. So after we had kids and, you know, with jobs and a family, just kind of struggled to find that time. So I kind of like that this is just a whole diet approach to healthy living versus something that you have to plan every day or every weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. When you become parents, I know a lot of you guys know once you become a parent, it's really hard to put yourself first, and to, even when you're trying to put yourself first and make it a priority, finding time to, I mean, it just has to be a lifestyle. It has to be a part of what you do, because if it's on your to-do list, it's always going to get cut off. So I love that. That's a great point. So let's talk a little bit. If you are not familiar with Whole30, it's not a diet. It's not like a long-term thing. It's a program. Hey, Emma, look who's on live. Say hi to your sister.
Hey, Emma.
So it's not a long-term thing. It's basically a short-term elimination diet, and the purpose of it, so it's called Whole30, so it's for 30 days, and it's really to give your entire GI system, your body, a chance to rest. It gives your body a chance to rid itself of the inflammation, heal your gut health, and really get your hormones and everything back leveled out. And then when the 30 days are over, you're supposed to slowly add in a few things. Hey, give him some credit. He's a little bit nervous to be on here. Sister's here picking on him. So you slowly add things back in and really see how your body reacts. And I can tell you personally, I can tell that dairy, I very specifically noticed dairy altered my mood. I had a little bit of dairy. I put creamer in my coffee, and that day I noticed a significant difference in my mood. I was a little bit more short-tempered and cranky, and just almost like PMS type symptoms. I could tell it messed with my hormones. I did a big no-no. Hey, Bill, and decided probably 4 days after we finished, I had a test at school, and I went and got some chili cheese fries. Not really a slow introduction, and I paid for that for like 3 days. So it was really a great learning experience to see how food affects your body, not only your roles, like not only the fat content on your body, but food affects your mood, the way that your metabolism works, the way that your brain functions. So let's talk a little bit. I want to hear from you about some of the non-scale victories, because we posted the before and afters, which were amazing for 30 days. I don't think that's typical. I think it's pretty incredible what our bodies were able to do in those 30 days. So let's talk a little bit more about mood and the non-scale type victories that we saw. So what did you feel different in that 30 days?
Best thing about this was the energy. So just having more energy allows you to do all these other things that, you know, make life fun. So when you have more energy, you can kind of get up, go to work. You're not exhausted when you come home. You can actually go grab a workout or do whatever you need to do. So that was pretty much the big thing.
Yeah, and he mentioned workouts. I personally did not work out at all at the advice of my doctor. I mentioned I was diagnosed with adrenal fatigue, and so he really stressed the importance of just pulling everything back and allowing my body to heal, and so that's what I did. I stopped all workouts pretty much. I did some walking and stuff, but the weightlifting and all that, I stopped everything for 2 months. And Serge actually worked out. I mean, I saw him increasing. So he would come home. He gets up at 5:30 in the morning. Gets up at 5:30 and goes to work. And he would come home and come straight in, and he'd go in the bedroom to change as usual, and he'd come out in workout gear. And I'm like, again? Like, he just had the energy to get going. Another thing that we implemented was this superfoods blend that honestly wasn't 100% Whole30, because you're not supposed to have peas. I think peas are considered a legume, and it's like a vegan pea protein. So we were using that supplement just because it was formulated specifically to help heal gut health and to help with your energy and help with cravings. And obviously we were doing this really difficult, challenging health shift in our food. And so we started doing the superfoods with that. And I noticed a big difference, because we were probably a week into Whole30 when we started those superfoods. And it just it crushed the cravings and really helped with energy, and then Serge was using it as basically a post-workout because it does have the protein component, and so he was coming home from work, still had energy just because of the foods that we were eating, and then had the superfoods after working out. And then another thing that you mentioned, one day when he came home from work, he's a supervisor. And so if you've ever been in any kind of management position, like you're dealing with a lot of conflict and just conflict resolution and directing people and putting out fires left and right, which can be pretty stressful. And he came home one day, like halfway through the month, and was like, I've noticed, like, what did you say? I'm sorry, I'm taking the show here. You go ahead and tell me.
Just a lot more calm about me as a general. So, a lot more energy, clear head. Just feeling good, feeling like I'm able to tackle any situation pretty much.
Yeah, I would agree with all that. The brain fog that people talk about, that brain fog, a lot of times we call it mommy brain, and we just assume like, oh, we have so much on our plate, that's why I'm so tired, that's why I can't think straight, that's why I can't remember. But really a lot of that has to do with how your body's actually functioning and how your body's able to burn the fuel that you are using. So I didn't want to make this too long. So let's talk real quick about a few tips and tricks and some things that helped us. So we somewhat attempted this Whole30 back in 2016, yeah. We were going on our honeymoon anniversary type thing to Mexico, and we were doing it in a mindset of weight loss, which I mentioned before. We'd really shifted how we were thinking more towards health from weight loss, and I think that alone, that shift in mindset, made a huge difference in being able to stick with it and to be completely compliant with the program. Because it wasn't, when you're thinking about weight loss and you have an emotional moment, if you're an emotional eater, you know what I'm talking about. When you have those moments where you're like, I just want to eat something and feel better. Well, when you're eating for weight loss, it's easy to go, okay, screw it. I'm just going to have some extra rolls and I'm going to have this chocolate and I'll start over tomorrow. But when it's your health on the line and like living for something better, that's a completely different conversation. Mm-hmm. That chocolate does not seem quite as worth it to screw up. So the mindset shift was paramount. From the first time we did it, I feel like there's so many more resources on the internet to help you with meal planning and coming up with meal ideas and just being able to reference whether something's Whole30 compliant or not. So things like Pinterest, if you could just do a quick Google on just about anything, you're going to find recipes and answers and ideas and all kinds of things. So resources are really heavy. And then I was going to ask you, just thinking back over our month, because it was pretty challenging. Mm-hmm. I mean, most of the food that we ate was so good that there were several meals that we were like, I can't even believe that this is healthy eating. It tastes so good. So we had a great experience with the food, but it was still challenging. It was challenging to stick with it. We did have to meal prep for eating away from home. We did have to plan ahead, because our kids were not quite compliant. So I did have to cook the mac and cheese and not taste test it or touch it. So what's the one tip that you would give somebody that you feel like helped you the most getting through this Whole30?
Throw away all your candy. Get rid of things that you just might not be able to resist at first. And then most definitely find somebody you can do this with. I think doing it alone is pretty hard. Just maybe a friend, a spouse, whatever. I think doing it together as a team is probably the best way to go.
Yeah. Definitely. There's no doubt in my mind that I could have finished that without you not only you doing it with me, but you actually committing to it. And that's the one thing that came to my mind when I'm thinking of like, what's the one thing to get you through a program like this is you've got to commit to it. Normally I'm that person that says, don't try to completely do a 180 in your life and go all in on something, because it makes it it's really hard to change 10 habits at once. But when it's something like this where health is at the forefront, something big has to happen. If you're gonna do it, you have to commit. Like I mentioned before, changing that mindset from weight loss to health. If you're gonna make an exception here, then what about all the other places? You have to be all in on this, really committed, and committing as a team was everything. So if you guys have any questions, drop them below. I will get back to you on the replay. And let's give a hand for Serge, his first Facebook Live. You did great, babe. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, drop questions if you have them. If you have done Whole30 before, let us know your experience. Or if you're thinking about it, reach out and I would be happy to share. I put together a quick little PDF 10 tips for doing a Whole30 that I put together just that I found really helpful. So reach out to me for that and have a great night. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.